Yo, what's up, everybody? It is another episode of Too Much Best Ball. Thanks for coming back. Over these next two episodes, we're going top to bottom through all 18 rounds to do my favorite picks from each round. On this episode, we're covering 1 through 9, so let's get it rolling. All right, so this is Too Much Best Ball on the Fantasy Football Advice Network. If you want to check out more of my stuff, I am all over here on the channel, so make sure you like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. The show is sponsored by Underdog, and that's where I'm doing all of my drafts. So if you haven't joined into the fun, use code FFAdvice to make sure you get your deposit match. So my favorite guy in the first round to grab is AJ Brown. Granted, there are all the favorites up there at the very top, but we're looking at the back end of this first round. This is outside of the top 5 guys that everybody loves. I think he is in a tier above just that Puka, that Garrett Wilson, the Marvin Harrisons if he's slipping in here. AJ Brown had an amazing first half last year. Fell off a little bit, but that Eagles team did too. They weren't where they needed to be for the coaching wise, so they've got that cleared up this year, and I'm really excited to see what he can do. Next up, number 2, we're taking Nico Collins here. This group of wide receivers is all over the place. You could make an argument for any of them finishing over above. Who's going to be the one that sits above the rest? Between Waddle, Mike Evans, Nico Collins, Deebo Samuels, Devontae Adams, Brandon Ayuk, Chris Olave, Drake London, and Marvin Harrison. As far as opportunity cost, I think Nico Collins has one of the higher ceilings of this group while also having one of the higher floors. Drake London could be a bust. He absolutely could be a bust, just us and over-anticipating what he could do. Same with Marvin Harrison. You've got Deebo and Ayuk, the whole little San Francisco debacle going on there. So I really like Nico here. He's a great grab in the second round. Moving on to round 3, I want some stability. We rolled the dice in round 2. Maybe we didn't take 2 wide receivers starting off, but DK Metcalf has never finished below wide receiver 24. He's consistent, and we're getting him at wide receiver 22 prices. This team's going to be in the second year removed from David Canales leaving. They've got a brand new OC because they just didn't get it done last year. This is the guy coming from Washington University. I know they're in Washington. A little confusing. But the question marks start popping up in here in round 3. DJ Moore was so electric. Can he be consistent with all the pieces there? Malik Neighbors, is he anything to be trusted? Devonta Smith is obviously the number 2. Michael Pittman, Anthony Richardson's there. Can he get 100 targets again? Cooper Kupp, is he falling off the cliff? DK Metcalf just seems like a shoe-in to give me consistent floor while also giving me that high upside of touchdowns. That number that you cannot actually predict each year, but that's a body. That's a body that gets touchdowns right there. Going to number 4, this is a rarity for me. Early on in these best ball drafts, I was taking one of the top 6 guys, and if I didn't get one of those, wasn't touching it for a while. But Isaiah Pacheco has come into an interesting spot as far as the running back 12 right now. He's going behind guys like Josh Jacobs and Travis Etienne, but I'm seeing him right now being sniped above that. He is a great grab in the round 4 position. If you didn't get a running back early, if you're trying to still flirt with a hero IRB-esque build, this is a nice guy to snag to put in there because there's a nice group of wide receivers behind that. And right now, Tank Dell is in this group. So had I not taken Nico Collins, Tank Dell would have been round 4 pick. But George Pickens, T. Higgins, Amari Cooper, potential and question marks across all 3 of those guys. There's a couple I like, but Isaiah Pacheco seems to be a great snag when you're looking for a running back somewhat early. All right, what's up with this one? Sure, tight end 5, maybe you can argue, with Kelsey above him, with Laporta, Kincaid, I understand that one. I don't know about the Trey McBride. Trey McBride is no longer the number 1 target in that offense. Mark Andrews still is. And this guy's falling behind there? What are we doing? He's an amazing stack if you end up taking Lamar. Love the 1-2 punch because you can get Lamar usually in the 4th and come back with Mark Andrews. But this guy continues to fall down draft boards. Points per game, he was on a great level last year. And it wasn't some soft tissue injury that knocked him down. It was the hip tackle. And that's banned. So I feel like his injuries are now banned, right? Sure, he hasn't played a lot of the last 2 years, but I'm willing to bet on it. And with the tight end landscape, I cannot find favorite late round tight ends right now. Usually pushes me to elite tight end, especially when they're falling down the board. So it's puzzle pieces, folks. It's all meshing together. Great value, nobody in the late round. Smash Mark Andrews. Round 6, here we go. All right, this one seems to be a layup for me. Sorry, basketball reference. I know it's football. But it just seems too easy. With the wide receivers going around him, Keon Coleman, Ladd McConkey, those rookies are moving up the board faster than I like it. They were all great value early when these tournaments first dropped. Jordan Addison slipping in there, Roma Dunze, Calvin Ridley, Xavier Worthy. Lots of young guys, and I get it. You'll want the new hotness. But Chris Godwin, he's going back to the old ways, and that's what we want. He's going back to the slot. We have a new OC. Their OC, Canales went up there to Carolina, so they brought in a new guy, and I'm excited to see the role he plays in. I think with the 6th round investment you're putting into him, he is more than capable of returning the investment that you put, because it's just wild. Wide receiver 38. This dude, we've seen him put up top 5 numbers. Granted, I'm not predicting that, but I think he can more than easily return top 24 consistently for you. So Chris Godwin, round 6, he's mine. Now talk about a beefy, big old thick round 7. I love what we have sitting here in round 7, but I decided to pivot. We went teeny tiny. We're grabbing Kyler Murray, because when I take a quarterback in the early rounds, round 7, it's still kind of early for me. I want rushing upside, and Kyler gives you that. Over his career, he's a top 5 in points per game. This guy gets it done. And you're going to give him a top 3 overall pick. Marvin Harrison Jr. to come in there to be a target. Trey Benson's in the backfield now with James Conner. There's a lot of pieces to go right here, and I'm super excited for the Cardinals offense. And I will say the reason I had to pivot here, the wide receivers are juicy. DeAndre Hopkins and Deontay Johnson. So if you went for a more of a fragile build in the beginning, you need guys that have more of a consistency with targets. Those are your guys. You want some young upside? JSN, Brian Thomas. Christian Watson evidently has figured out his hamstring issue. Rashee Rice is going to finish great. So no matter your build, I think round 7 is a great way to make sure that you are under that threshold of 4 to 5 wide receivers by round 7. This is a perfect round to clean up, make sure that you can still grab some onesie positions if you want, a running back or two, and then solidify that wide receiver core. All right, next up is the hype of hype for the running backs. This was the number 1 running back taken in the draft. Jonathon Brooks goes to Carolina, where he is going to easily take over for Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard. This guy's great. Now, I see the Texas. He's not Bijan. And at running back 24, I don't know if we're going to get a cheaper option for him. I don't see him falling much more. The hype's only going to grow. We're going to start seeing him in videos, and at that point, I'm going to be out because I had already filled up my exposure to him. So Jonathon Brooks, for the 0 RB, the hero RB people, he is an amazing first, maybe second running back for you. Love it. And lastly, we're going to finish up with round 9, Trey Benson, another rookie running back. I mentioned him just a second ago with Kyler. He is back there with James Conner, who's on the last year of his contract. Trey Benson is going to plug in to those games that he eventually misses. He misses every single year. It's inevitable. And if we get to the backside of the year, Trey Benson might be taking over. We might work ourselves into a 40-60 split, a 50-50 split. So Trey Benson, again, if you're grabbing that second, third wide receiver here, that lightning bolt that you want, I like the fella there. All right, everybody, that will be the wrap-up for today. We're just covering rounds 1 through 9, so come back tomorrow and I'll finish talking about rounds 10 through 18, my favorite picks there. Let me know in the comments which ones did I get right, which ones are wrong, who are your favorites, and are we grabbing these guys all over the place? And again, of course, if you haven't joined Best Ball on Underdog Fantasy, come on over, use that code FFAdvice. But until then, I'll see you next time.